Now I'm going to touch into politics, right? Yeah. Isn't it the same thought process that everybody needs to have? I'm just talking about everybody. I'm not trying to get into one speck of politics in one country, right? All around the world.
Yeah.
You do good by the people on your left, people on your right, wherever you are, whoever is next to you. You just do good by the person next to you.
Yeah. And where I am in the United States, it's competition, it's battle, it's conflict, it's strife, it's using negativity to advance one's thing on that makes it more difficult in there. But yeah, the more that we can take a deep breath and not necessarily treat other people like I would like to be treated, but treat other people how they would like to be treated. And that takes effort. You have to learn what that is. And so an example of that is, say, if I go to Pashupati and I see a sadhu, and I'm not going to go in there with my climber mindset or a party mindset. I'm going to go in there respecting that person's space and try to understand it, but not kind of overbear them with my presence. And so treating them as they would like to be treated. And it takes time to understand what everyone else wants to be treated. Because it was like, treat them as you'd like to be treated. Well, some people, they treat themselves like shit. They're hard on themselves. I mean, we're all guilty of that. We get down, we get depressed, but then pulling out of that and getting into something where you're there to uplift other humans. It's like the most fun. It's like it feels good. All right?
Of course it does. No shadow of a doubt on that.
But why is, as an individual, we live by this, but society-wise, everything, we're at conflict.
We want to see, it's, I did a movie, Conrad. I did a movie a couple of years ago, and in the movie, there's a Nepali dialogue. I'm going to try to translate it in English as I go along. It says, when you go out and see somebody else going through trouble, maybe the person has to go out and pay up his or her dues. Maybe that person's suffering in health, or maybe that person's suffering in general, right? When we look at somebody else, we just sit and we just chit-chat, oh, that poor person is going through that, right? But when it happens to us, when we are suffering, when we're going through pain, when we're going through hardships, right? That's when we really know what the other person had to go through. So sometimes you have to go through all those things to understand that other person's pain. You kind of getting what I'm trying to say, right? Not everybody goes through that hardship and that pain, so probably not everybody understands it or probably needs to understand it. But once they go through that, because in a process of life, they have to go through it. Every human being probably goes through suffering at one point.
Life is suffering.
As soon as somebody said this, as soon as we're born, we need to breathe and to go through all of that process. Is like every breath is to suffer. So you have to take it as you go along with all the experiences, with all the hardships that you go through. Then you're going to understand that other person's pain. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I guess with experience we learn how to be better human beings.
Yeah, we do. But if my recreation involves a suffering component, and climbing Everest is suffering, there's nothing. You're not sitting on the beach having a barasinga and reading the newspaper or a book. You're sick. You're cold. But it's good fun. But if you go through suffering by your own choosing, by your own volition, saying I'm going to endure some hardship for an intangible, intrinsic reward, and it's what we do, and whatever. But if you can comprehend suffering, then you have empathy for the person that's suffering. And so if you've spent a night out without a sleeping bag and had to shiver through the whole evening and just running out of food, then if you see someone that's not doing well, that's living on the streets, you can, that, and they're not doing it because it's their path to self-actualization, which is what It's a grandiose way of saying why we go climbing, because we want to self-actualize. They're doing it because they have no choice.
They have no choice.
They're poor. Society, for many different reasons, they're on the edge of it. And so, but I'm constantly fascinated by the human condition and where we are and how we approach other people and what that looks like.
तपाईले हाम्रो क्लिप एकदमै एन्जोय गर्नुभयो होला अब पुरै भिडियो हेर्नको लागि चाहिँ युट्युबमा सब्स्क्राइब गर्न नबिर्सिनु होला This program is brought to you by Vianet Studios